hockey talk for referees, coaches, players, and fans.
Broadcasting live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
With your hosts, Scott Smokin Silz and Brad Baumruck.
Live.
The Ref Room starts right now.
And now your host.
All right, welcome to the Ref Room, everybody. I am Scott Smokin Silz, and I will be joined by my man Brad Baumruck, along with Joe Prescott, because this is our special St. Patrick's Day edition. And I had planned on doing like green screens and everything in green. I did get home in time to put a green shirt on and the green background, but we have been at the Blackhawk Alumni Scholarship Luncheon, and we had a great time. It went a little bit longer than we expected, and traffic was really, really bad. I know Brad is stuck out there. There's like a 4-foot size pothole in the middle of I-55, so he is definitely delayed. Joe just hit me because he had a long ride home. He just got in, so he's going to join us in a couple minutes. But we got lots to talk about because, you know, we had a week off 2 weeks ago. Last week we had Ross Foreman on. And we went through some of the brackets, and I don't want to toot my own horn, but I'm going to do it because nobody else is here to toot it for me. So, Ross, your predictions, not quite up to par, buddy. I think I'm the one that's hitting the home run here with the predictions. So, we've got the big games coming up. The JV final is tonight. That is York, who is my pick. That is still my pick, and they're in the finals. We got the weekend picks, okay? The red game, I've got New True Green up against York. Both of them are going. I had York getting to the semis and the finals. I had Green getting to the finals. They're there. That's the lineup. And then I don't know if it was a bit of an upset, but I'm really excited for Chicago North because they got to the finals of the combined game. And, of course, they are taking on this might be Mr. Prescott now. Yeah, let's see what he says. How do I sign on? Okay, I got to send him a link, folks. This is going to take me a second, so bear with me. But we're going to talk about all those games. And Joe, stand by. I will email you the link since you don't have it from the last time. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this right now, to be honest with you, being on the air here. But we're going to make it happen. So stand by, you know, because Joe's got like a whole presentation he had planned on doing today. So I've got that all set up, and he wants to go through some stuff. We're going to cover some other things, and we could talk about some situations. We'll just kind of see how time flies here as we're having fun. I'm not used to doing the show by myself. I mean, I'm so used to having my tag team partners here, but I'm glad you guys are with us. And let me get this link to Joe real fast, and we will get him on here. Bear with me for 1 second. Come on, copy. There we go. That's not what we want. We want that. And see, it doesn't work when you're on the air. That's just how it works. All right, here we go. We got it. Let me send this to him. Joe, if you're watching, which I'm sure you are, it's coming your way now, so you can join. And boom, done. All right. So I should have brought Ross Foreman back on here, but I didn't want to throw it in his face because I love Ross. But anyway, my picks are doing very well. And if you want to go see the game, JV final tonight at Bensonville, and then, of course, the big games at the UC coming up. So, they've had plenty of time to prepare. I did run into Coach Bo from York today. He's pretty excited, as he should be. He's got 2 teams in the finals, which is pretty incredible. And, those guys I'm excited for them. It's going to be a good game. I know they're coming to play hockey. We talked about going to the scholarship luncheon. Oh, my gosh. The Blackhawks really did this well. And here comes another one for Joe. Hang on 1 second. Help. Take the link, Joe. If you're watching, take the link, copy it, put it into Chrome browser, in the Chrome browser, and you'll be good to go. Okay. All right. Anyway, getting back to this luncheon, man, the Blackhawks did it right. By the way, saw Jonathan Taves was there. The entire Blackhawk team was there. All the broadcasters. Not to mention the 3 scholarship recipients. What an amazing group of young people. When they told me their resume, not me, but when they addressed everybody with their resumes, like incredible. One guy got a 36 on his ACT. Like, come on, man, that's perfect. Wow. Very impressive group. I mean, all that they do. And, I just want to congratulate them. We have such a fine hockey community here. The people, you just don't know the caliber of people that we have. And if you haven't had the opportunity to go to one of these, first of all, I'm going to thank John Dunn because he made that happen for me along with Brad. Brad invited me on behalf of them to join them, which was quite an honor. And got to see our good friend Brett Straley and Anthony Fiorito. Some of the board members were there. So nice to see them and spend some time with them. I also got to see some of the coaches. And, as referees, we don't always get to see the coaches, off the ice where they're relaxed and they're real people and they're friendly. Would love to see more of that sort of thing for all of us because I think, building a little bit of rapport, they realize that you're human as well. You may not always agree with the calls that are being made. Sometimes they favor you, sometimes they don't. But either way, I mean, it's good. You get a little rapport, and I think that goes a long way. It's something that we've talked about a lot on the show over the course of time. And I'm reading email messages as we go here. And there's Joe. That's Brad. Brad must have gotten. Let's see. Yeah, Brad is here. Very nice. Look at that.
Sorry about that.
You had time to put a green shirt on like I did. This is about as bright green as I could get. Yeah, well, Joe is joining us at the same time here. So, now we got the band is back together,
Did you remind everybody that this is a good way to prep in case you're running late for your assignment to let your partners know?
Call your partner and text them, which they did. They both did. And I told them, I said, I will set the nets for you. I will get the score sheet signed. And if necessary, I'll drop the puck, which is exactly what I did. I dropped the puck at 5:30 and, my partners joined me on the ice. So it's all good. Yeah, Joe is here as well. And so I was just going over what we're going to talk about today because there's a lot. I know that we have wanted to talk about some situations because with all that's going on, there's a lot for us to cover. So next week we are going to do the situations because we've got Joe here today. I haven't had a chance to discuss the other thing yet. I was just tooting my own horn because, Ross, if you're watching, buddy, I'm eating you up on the brackets.
Scott, did you explain to everybody where we came from yet?
I did, and I was just telling him about the incredible event with the entire Blackhawk team there, and the Blackhawk organization, coaching staff, the who's who, the broadcast group. I mean, Pat Foley addressed the audience. Troy Murray, Troy was a recipient of one of the awards. Chris Chelios was there, donated $10,000. I mean, wow, what a nice afternoon. So, I'm very excited to be a part of that. And Brad even hooked me up. I got one of those A-High hats, okay? See, asking you shall receive. So, thanks to John Dunn for making that happen too. So I appreciate it. And mine has something on it that Brad's doesn't have, but I won't tell you what that is.
We'll get you a black marker in order to put that out.
Exactly.
I just want to thank the Alumni Association, the Keith Magnuson Alumni Association for extending an invite out to us, an A-High extending an invite out to IHOA. It was a great event. We got to see a lot of people. Unfortunately, we were running a little late because of the traffic. 4x4 pothole all the way down to the rebar on one of the bridges is what got me here late, which was very interesting.
Yeah,
these
I
told
you, you're like, oh no, there's a big accident. I'm like, no, it's a pothole. And he calls me back, goes,
I didn't believe you.
It was a pothole all the way down to the rebar. So,
well, I thought we'd cover real quick. Is Joe actually waiting for us? Or?
Yeah, Joe's in the green room here. I'm going to bring him in right now. So let's
because I want to do the other big event that we're going to be having at the United Center here. So
okay, there we go. Now we got the whole band back together. I love it. Happy St. Patrick's Day, Joe.
Happy St. Patrick's Feast Day. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're a little soft,
Yes.
but I can hear you.
You're a little soft. Why am I a little soft? My volume's not up?
Well, I think it's just that headset that that kind of went out back in the '90s, and so you
Here
look
we
like you're a
go.
telephone operator. Hey, can I get
Well,
can I
that's
get
okay.
fries? Can I get a fries and shake, please?
Yeah. Do you want it supersized, sir?
I do. You've seen my waistline. Everything is supersized. Trust me.
All right, but you can hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you, Joe.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, listen, first off, we got to start off the show by saying I'm sorry, but as Scotty said, both, we got out of there as quickly as we could. But Brad, were you on the Eisenhower also?
I was on Obama. On 55.
Okay, well, I was on the wonderful Eisenhower, and it's not going to make it on that. But I have to apologize to Brett Straley because I love Brett. He is just an outstanding individual, and he was talking to you two guys, and I said, I got to get out of here. And I didn't get a chance to talk to him. So, Brett, if you're tuning in, I am very sorry. Anytime I get to talk to you, it's a pleasure. And that I had to get out there, there you go. And as Scotty said, both Brad and I let Scott know where we were. And it's a great lesson for everybody, just like Scott said. We all have these $1,000 toys now, these phones that can do everything. And there's just no excuse not to take a second and just send a text or, call and say, look, here's where I'm at. I'm tied up. And your partner can get things going, and it's all good. So, anyway, happy St. Patrick's Feast Day to everybody.
The puck went down on time, okay? It dropped at 5:30 like we're supposed to. So,
there you go.
It's all good. It was just crazy. Brad, you even said to me, it goes, this is going to be the first day I'll actually be able to get there in time and be, ready to go.
Well, good plans. So, before we get started on the fun stuff, I thought maybe we'd make a quick announcement, with the upcoming games that are going on here.
Oh, did you want to remind everybody how well I was doing in my bracket picks?
Yeah. Well, I want to first point out that the state championship for JV is being played tonight at Bensonville, and that's between Glenbard and York JV, and that's going to be happening at 6:40. So there are still good seats available, I'm sure, and you got about 54 minutes to get there if you want to get to that puck drop. But I'd like to let the officials know, congratulations that they're there. And it's a culmination of the season to be picked for these assignments, so it's very good that
Who
this
picks
is going
these?
on.
Can you tell us how the process works?
There's everybody works their assignments, and then there's a committee that sits down and evaluates all the officials, by their achievements throughout the system, levels that they had worked. And then, there's some other things that go into it, just like this. Like if they were running late to a game, but there wasn't a text message or a call to their partner, guess what? They may have an issue there. Or if they missed any assignments, that takes you out of the running. So be mindful when you have things going on. We do understand things happen, but a culmination of a season is what the players are there for. The coaches, think of the countless hours they've spent, thousands of dollars that they've spent in order to get there and get a chance to play for the state championship. So, it's a good thing, and, all the referees should be excited at this time. And if they're not already prepared, they should be at the rink by now and getting dressed for tonight. But everybody else is playing on Sunday, the 19th. Can
we announce who's doing all the games? Do you mind going through? And let's give
absolutely.
Let's give them their proper due because they've earned it and worked hard to get there. And you took me off the list real quickly. I was not even considered. Thanks very much, my partner. So you see, he doesn't discriminate. But anyway, so tonight, who do we have? We got 4-man.
4 officials,
Four officials, I should say.
So we'll start with the line spot. So it's Owen Main Davis lining with Alex Lieberman. And referees are Eric Sexton and Brody Clark. So congratulations to them.
Yeah.
They all worked a ton, and all of them have had an outstanding season, and they're going to get the opportunity to showcase it here with a little bigger crowd than they're probably used to.
Yeah, no, it's exciting. Love it when the building is packed. State tournament games, it was nice and busy. Love it.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. It's a great atmosphere. Anytime you've got all those students in the stands and the place is going nuts, it's a lot of fun. No pressure, obviously. Get the calls right, but it's fun.
Yeah, and everybody earned their way to these assignments. So, it's a great honor, and then the next part is the United Center. So that'll be the culmination.
Yep.
United Center, that's Sunday, the 19th.
Who's doing the games?
First game's
Let's
at
get
11.
to it. Let's get to it.
Yeah.
Who got the
First
nod?
game. Well, first game is the women's final, which is Barrington and Loyola. And
Should be a good one.
The lines persons are Ben Pisker, Jessica Kreisik.
Nice.
And the referees are Eric Netzel and Samantha Sabelski.
Okay.
So congratulations to them.
Yep.
They have a big duty early in the day. It's a good day to start out, but it's also the tough one to keep on time. And every year, everybody works their hardest, but some things happen, and we'll get through it. We'll enjoy it, and everybody will be together and hopefully have a good time. And it should be a really good game too.
And
I
then we
think
have
all
the
the games are
combined-
going to be good games.
The combined after that?
Yep, the combined at 1 p.m. Remember, these are all at the United Center. You can get tickets right now on ahigh.com. They have a link for it. And sorry, my dog's going crazy with me. But the Lions persons are Scott Panter, Brandon Boyes, and the referees are Michael Plessick and Erica Greenan.
Okay.
Erica just finished up the women's playoffs out in Anaheim for the Women's Professional League. So she's out there, and she's flying back, I think today. So
very nice. Congrats.
And then the red game between New Trier Green and York, we were graced with the York coach's presence, Matt, because he was there because one of his players was receiving a scholarship.
Yep.
With a very, very long resume. All the scholarship winners really had amazing resumes, by the way.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I was talking about the one,
but I was
guy
blown away.
Got 36 on it on the ACT. Okay, like that's our combined score between the three of us.
All right. Well, so the red game is John Campbell is lining with Stephen Popst, who played in the NHL. There was just an article put out about him on AHI. And the referees are Scott Gaffney and Samantha Hiller.
Very nice.
Samantha's
been they've both been on the show.
Yep.
Gaff works basically pro league hockey, and Samantha, working the AHL pro league games. Man, I mean,
she works in the women's league, and then she also works a lot of games here in Illinois, and then she does stuff for the IIHF.
So, Joe, do you think there's any coincidence that both teams are green? Because York is a green team, and Green is a green team, and it's St. Patrick's weekend. So, do you think that had anything to do with it? I mean, I saw a bunch of teams with blue 2 weeks ago, and everybody that had a blue jersey on got blown out that day. So, I don't know. I just put it out there for you, Joe.
Well, first of all, I watched last week's show, the whole thing, because as I wrote, Ross Farman is a fine guy, and I wrote that in the comments. And Ross, if you're listening, what I wrote, I actually, 100% mean. You're talking, Scott, you asked him how he got so much good information. Ross gets good information because he's a good man, and he's always been a good man. And people trust him because they know that he never submarines anybody. He's a very good hockey person. He loves our game and has been involved for years, and that's why he gets this information.
Yeah.
Now, I agree, his picks weren't as good as yours, Scotty. I know you were the winner in the picks of the two of you because there was somebody that wouldn't pick.
Yeah, somebody abstained.
Yeah,
There's going to be excellent officiating.
Yeah,
Nobody gave me any guff.
Well, the verdict is still out there. It depends on which side of the call you're on, okay?
Yeah, right. And that's that's the story. But
Right.
no, a few things here. Unfortunately, the way our game is, and I've had a few phone calls about that some people are repeating going to the United Center, and that it used to be that you only went once or something.
Oh, is that right? Do we have people going back for a second time?
And well, again, I don't know, but I said very clearly, and I've always said this, that it should never be that that we're going to try and spread it around. I'm sorry, the best officials should be out there, and when you've got Gaffer out there and Sammy Hiller, you've got two of the absolute best, not just in Illinois, anywhere around. And if they do it every frigging year until somebody's better, that's the way it should be. When I was starting off, Leroy Albrecht, I think he did 7 years in a row of the highest level high school and the midget AAA. And then Phil Lavecchio and I were very, very lucky to have 5 years that he would do the high school and I'd do the AAA, and then I'd do the I'd do the AAA and he'd do the high school. And the people that assigned him at that time was always, well, geez, they're always doing it. Can't other people doing it? Well, are you a better skater than they are? Do you know the rules better? Do the coaches have confidence in you more? No. So, I mean, I think with this lineup here, I don't know everybody, but I know a good amount of these people, and all of them are solid that I know. You have a guy like Netzy. Netzel is just an absolutely outstanding guy. Lives up, close to Pleasant Prairie. And, he'll go out and skate hockey at any level to cover the game so the kids get to play. And, Netzy, he will call penalties to set a standard. He tries to be as communicative as possible when coaches are a little upset. Netzy does a fine job. And, really. But like I say, and Johnny Campbell out there lying in the red game, John Campbell, here's a guy that served the city of Chicago for many years out there on the job, and he's a good official, a good father, a good man.
Good hockey player too. I played hockey with him.
So there you go.
Yeah.
So whatever this committee does, I think if somebody is returning, great. Because that means, that people can look at them and say, hey, if I want that job, I've got to bump that person. I have to be better at what, that person's doing. Whether it's a guy like Netzy'd be the first to admit, or Eric Sexton, he's another guy. They'd be the first to admit that, they're not going to set any land speed records on their skates. But they're good enough on their skates. They're solid in comparison to a kid like Gaffney or to Sammy Hiller. But the bottom line is both of them are good hockey people. They skate all levels of hockey. They've got a great attitude. They work on the rule book. They want to know the rules. They're outstanding picks, really outstanding people. So whatever that committee did for the people I know, they're all good. And like I say, a lot of these people I don't know. Pops here, I don't know him. I know him from the National League, but I don't know him as an official. But that's outstanding. So good luck to all of them. And also, I have to say, tonight, Brody Clark, such a nice kid, and his father is such a nice guy. Good hockey people. Really, it's great to hear that these people are going out there representing officiating, and I'm sure they're going to do a fine job. And Brad and Scotty, I think it's great that you brought this up because, unfortunately, we don't have a newsletter like we had when I started. You had a newsletter that
we got a newsletter right here every Monday, 5:30 p.m. And if you miss it, the letter is reposted on YouTube immediately. Okay.
There you go. So, all right. Well, great, because this is what should be done. I know that Danny Cannon is going out to do nationals out in California for the midgets. The guys and girls that are going to nationals, regionals. We just had districts down in Romeoville and Seven Bridges.
Yep.
These officials should be recognized. Now, granted, not everybody's going to like everybody. I don't care. the bottom line is you've been selected for these positions. You should be recognized. And I think it's great that you guys mentioned everybody that's officiating. And Brad, you are the man. Absolutely. You always name the linesman first, not the referees. That's the way it is.
I've learned well.
Yes,
I've learned well.
You know, and Brad, this is finishing up your first year as referee in chief. I mean, that's had to have been quite an experience. I know how busy it keeps you. You want to?
I've enjoyed
any
every
highlights you
minute
want
of
to share, or any?
I'd like to let everybody know that hey, it was a great year. I know there have been some officials that have reached out to me that I may never have known or have had the pleasure of skating with, and I've helped them out with whatever they're looking for, or if they have goals, we've been pushing them to our development program in order to help assist them with that. Where Scott Gaffney and Brett Straley are helping instruct this season. We're trying to move that program back to as big as it was. It's definitely gained a lot of membership. The links are always on IHOA.com now. We changed that up. They're open to any member of IHOA. Please feel free to join it. It's informal. It's still a USA Hockey program, but it is informal to whereas it's on Zoom right now. We're probably going to go back into person. It's relaxed. You can wear a hoodie on it. You can wear a hat. But we're going to cover what you can't wear.
The game.
Correct. So but it's a little more casual, and you know what? The program is to teach you things that we can't always cover in a seminar. And Mr. Prescott was a big teacher in that when I went through it umpteen years ago. And I've had the pleasure of, running that now for 5 years because the COVID year kind of slipped in there. So 2 years. It's been really difficult to get that back to exactly where it was. And with our officiating numbers, it's proving to be a little bit more difficult. But, the people that are doing these games for the development and trying to get better, I think any official that wants to get better should definitely have the opportunity. And, you might go from a Pee Wee game to Bantam AAA or something like that. If that's your goal, bring it to us. Let's see if we can get you there. There's a lot of ways that we can help, with skating and other stuff like that. We're already working with local rinks for planning everything next year. It's a big project, of course. Yeah. But, hey, anybody that wants to come up, that's great. Any official, please, always feel free. Somebody has my phone number or email. My email is always on the IHOA page. Reach out. I'll help you. If I have an issue helping you, I'll tell you, hey, I don't know. Let me go find somebody. If I can't get an answer, though, every once in a while we hit a dead end. I'm sorry. There just may not be an answer to it. So, but no, it's been busy. It's been absolutely rewarding. And, Sunday, when we go to the United Center, will be the first time that I can sit down and really go, wow, we made it through the season. We still got tonight that we got to get through, and then we got to get through those games.
Make sure
and
you
then
got your bag in the trunk of your car, okay?
I will not have my bag. I will not be setting foot on the ice. There's no way I'm going to be involved in that. That's by personal decision of I should not be the one to have that situation or be the one that should be covering that as to the position that I have. It would be unfair to the other officials in the state.
Absolutely correct. Guys, it's been a great chat, but, there's a lot of things that, I'd like to get through today. And just so everybody knows, because whether you're watching live or whether you're going to watch this on replay, we got a few things to cover here, like end of the season checklist, some upcoming dates, some supervisor evaluation interaction relationships, then quickly on face-offs, and then if Scotty was able to put in this video for laughs at the end, we'll watch that. But if not, maybe they can show.
I was, and now I'm looking for the the slide that I stuck in here. Of course.
Oh no! Here we go.
I was busy putting everything in here as quickly as possible because I was afraid we might be doing a show by myself while you guys sat out there in traffic.
Well, Scotty, time out. The first thing doesn't have any slide, and that's the end of the season checklist.
Okay.
And I don't know about the rest of you, but I did my last hockey game the other night. So my amateur hockey season and hockey season's over. And when I used to teach seminars and I used to run the advanced program, or I was supervising the juniors, I always said, you come to a season, have a nice ending, and then, okay, have an end of the season checklist. Any successful organization or hockey team, they have an end of the season review, and they start to make notes for the following season. So if you really love officiating, let's just go over a few things. The basics. Right off the bat, for those people that aren't going to officiate that much, or you have a break, you've got your bag. Get the bag, in the basement or garage or wherever it's nice, and take the bag and take everything out of the bag. Everything you have, okay? Everything that's in there comes out, all right? And then you go and you get the fantastic bottle or whatever that is and some wipes, and you start wiping that thing up and cleaning it out. And you're going to find some stuff in the bottom of that bag that are either going to say, wow, I've been looking for that, or you're going to find some stuff you're going to go, wow, that's pretty gross, There are some guys I know that, would have, food and stuff that would fall down in one of the pockets, and yeah, it was pretty gross. But for everybody, get your bag, clean the damn thing out, see where it's ripped up. Maybe you got a bad wheel. There you go. And then the next most important thing, your skates. All right, we all know they cost $1,000 a pair now. So
or more.
You want to look at them, or more. You want to look at them right there. How are the rivets? How are the eyelets? Take your laces all the way out. Take the liner of the skates out. All right, and look inside that liner. And two things. One, you're going to see sometimes some rust where it's holding the took or whatever blade you have on. You might find, something that's a little loose. You can feel around in there. For some of you guys that don't take the stuff out that much, you again might find some stuff growing in there that you're not going to like. But same,
I don't wear socks. I don't have anything growing. They just don't smell good.
So the same thing, you take the fantastic bottle, you get in there, you wipe out that all stuff. Believe me, really good. And you'll see if you've got a problem with the tongue or the eyelet or that. And you do the same thing with your equipment. Your shin pad has a little tear here, or the elbow pads, whatever you're wearing, however you have, then you go to your hockey trousers. Everybody in their hockey trousers now, they have cuts in their trousers. If you can't handle a needle and thread, then get it to the damn tailor. If you can ask the wife, fine. But, you got to get that fixed up, and then your sweater. And let's just cover this very clearly. I see guys that unfortunately have gotten used to bratwurst and an 8-pack of beer, not a 6-pack. I'm sorry, you are not 180 pounds anymore. You're now 240, and that nylon is going, help me. We have guys that, the sweater is not black and white. It's kind of like stripes sideways from the pucks and sticks.
I'm working on replacing mine, so before anybody says anything,
there you
mine
go.
needs a replacement. I know that.
Yeah, lead by example now, referee in chief.
We're going to get a new one, I admit it.
Yeah, there you go. See, this is what everybody has to do. End of the season checklist. Now you've got the bag all set up, and you looked at your equipment, you know what might need to be replaced, you know what needs to be mended, and now you can put it all away. It's all nice and clean, whether you're going to take 2 weeks off or the whole summer. Now you got to look at your year, and some guys are very, very good at how many games they worked and what levels. If you're happy with that, well, that's not good, because you've got to look at that schedule and see, well, what do you really want to do? What gives you the most pleasure? Are you most happy, working AAA games? Are you most happy working Pee Wee games? And then you have to kind of see how you can set your schedule for next year, because everybody knows in this day and age what happens is, here's the thing, you click on all these games and you're going here and you're going there. You kind of lose focus. And a lot of people get burnt out because they're doing a lot of games and they're really not happy doing it. You know, think about the spot that you're happiest at. Go at that and be the top guy at that, or the top girl at that. You know, so I mean, set your sights for next year. What are you going to do that next year is going to make you happy and really be productive for everybody? And then what are you going to do, you know, if you're going to be off for a while? What are you going to do? If you're the guy that, you know, has put on 30, 40 pounds, what are you going to do? I mean, are you eating too late at night? This is not just hockey. You know, most of the guys that we have that are doing the majority of the games are all over 40 years old. Okay, you get over 40 years old and you're putting on that extra 10 pounds, extra 20 pounds, your cardiovascular system is crying. And your kids and your wife, they're not going to like it too much if all of a sudden you're in the emergency room, you know, getting a triple bypass. Again, I'm not asking you to run marathons. I'm just trying to say, end of the season checklist, take a look. We're athletes. We are still athletes. And also, we are in a game that something bad can happen no matter what level you're skating. And if you are getting yourself where you are in the way because you can't get out of the way, because you put on those extra pounds, again, you're going to get hurt or somebody else is going to get hurt because you can't get out of the way. And you guys know that a lot of the kids, unfortunately, the game's gotten a lot faster, and those composite sticks, I don't care, it can be a little squirt or a peewee. They can let that thing loose, and it hits the glass, and you don't know where it's going. Yeah. So, you know, you've got to really work on that. So there's your end of the season checklist. Take care of your gear and yourself, and then looking forward to next year, what really makes you happy? What can you really do? And for those people that are really dedicated to this, okay, where are your weakest spots? No doubt about it, in amateur hockey, Chet Stewart always said, nobody knows the rule book as well as they think they know the rule book. And there is a point where I always teach, you know, people, when I always say that's a sweater and your trousers. And they always say, well, you know, that's old school. No, it's not old school. Rule 502 in the USA Hockey book, in every rule book, it says the referee shall be, it used to say garbed, but dressed in black trousers and an official sweater. And why do I say that? Here's what it is. When a coach asks you a question and you answer that question referring to a rule, if you can use the terminology and verbiage of a rule, of an interpretation that's in the book, for those coaches or managers that go to the book and look it up, they're going to say, geez, this kid, that's almost exactly what it says. Your credibility the next time they see you has gone up exponentially. So the more that you can use terminology and verbiage that comes directly from the rule book or rule books, because as we all know, the NCAA is a lot different than the USA Hockey. Federation's a lot different. If you're using multiple rule books, get the verbiage and also the differences, so that'll help you next year for those people that are really involved in it. And the final thing I'll say on the checklist, you know, for those people who are married, your wife and kids gave up a lot so you can participate in our great game. Hug them, kiss them, and make sure you make lots of time this spring and summer to make up for all those Saturdays and Sundays you were gone for like 12 hours. Because I got to tell you, kids grow up very fast, and also, gentlemen, we are not guaranteed tomorrow. No. So please, as your checklist, kiss the wife.
Seasons go
kids.
Faster and faster as you get a little older. Trust me, Joe.
You're right. And if you're a young kid, please, you kiss mom and dad, and you tell them how grateful you are that you get to participate in our great game, because without them, you wouldn't be here.
You know what, Joe? I want to point out, boy, maybe you guys, I'm horrible with names. Which recipient pointed out that his parents and his sister sacrificed so much for him to be able to play? I thought that was absolutely touching at the dinner, you know. Yeah. And I'll be the first one to admit, my wife has definitely held down the fort over here. We got a puppy, last year, and she's been absolutely amazing. And, I know she lets me do this, and it was a group decision. This wasn't something that I said to her that, hey, I'm going to do this. She had to say, yeah, I know you are, and you're going to have to put your honest effort into it, and I'll be here when you get done. So checklist number 1, Saturday, we're going to the Wolves game. It's PTO night. My wife is the PTO president. I'm there for her. I'm supporting her in the PTO. And my parents are coming with too, so I'm going to spend the night with those guys. At least I got one of those down, but
so you're still at hockey.
Going on a
you're
trip.
Still at hockey is what you're saying.
I will probably not watch very much of the game. I will probably socialize with my family and friends that are there. But
no, that's
at least
and that's
there.
outstanding. And for
awesome.
everybody listening, you see, that's exactly what you need to do, and that's outstanding. So that's the checklist, and can we go on now to the important dates to remember?
Yep.
Anniversary.
Okay, did that? Do you have that checklist on the screen? Can we put that up?
I don't think you sent me a checklist for that. I got the other piece.
The dates. Yeah, the dates.
Hang on.
I was not on this email loop, so.
Hang on.
No, you weren't. But if not, I'll go over it. But I just thought that some people might.
There we go.
Okay. It's coming.
Hang on. Yep.
This is his passcode. Hang on here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Once again, everybody who's listening to this live or get out your calendar or get a notepad and write down some of this stuff because it'll pay off. Real life example. We just changed the clocks on Sunday. I thought it was this coming Sunday. I really did. And I thought it was too early for the daylight savings time to begin. So, luckily I had it written and underlined on the calendar. But I don't know.
Joe.
There you go. I don't know if you can see it, but let's go over this so we're all good. And obviously Friday is the Feast of St. Patrick, and of course that's my big holiday, and it was a huge holiday in my family, and in Ireland for years that was a religious holiday. And in my house, of course, that's the first thing we did. We went to Mass, and then we went to the cemeteries to visit our people. So it was always a very big family event. But something else for your hockey people, the first Stanley Cup playoff game was played in Montreal in 1894 on the Feast of St. Patrick, March 17th.
And weren't you just in Montreal and Toronto watching games?
Yes. Yeah. I was up in
Pretty
Montreal,
cool.
and with Thomas Robertson, my brother from another mother, great guy, and we met some outstanding people. And of course, I had been to both the old buildings, the old Forum, and the Gardens. And in fact, I was fortunate; I skated in both those buildings, but I had never been to the new buildings, and it was just a really great time. We move right on to this Sunday. That's the Feast of St. Joseph for the Italians and the Polish folks out there. We always wore red on St. Joseph's Day. As we covered at the beginning of this, that's the high school championship day. Monday, the 20th, next Monday is the first day of spring. For those that are wondering, that's Gordie Howe checking somebody from behind. And that's Frank Udvari, Hall of Fame referee.
We used to have the short glass that you could jump up on. You remember that? There's still a couple rinks that have the low glass, like McFetrich has
like
low glass on the side.
Yeah. Well, that's the National Hockey League, and that's chain link. That's how old that picture is. That's chain link when the National Hockey
I didn't even
League.
notice, man. It looks like glass in the background, but you're right on the side. It is chain link. I didn't realize they played on chain link. We used to do that when we were younger.
Yeah. There was no glass in the National Hockey League until the '60s. So, and even at that time, they started just putting it in the end zone. So on the sides, it was still chain.
Does that look like a check from behind to you, or does that look like it's going to be a boarding? One of the two, maybe.
Yeah, it's definitely Gordie, as usual, has his elbow extended, so he's chicken winging a guy from behind in the boards. Yeah, that's a penalty.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's going to go head first. That could be 5 in a game, I mean, let's look at that. What do you think? Yeah. He's in boarding land there.
Yeah, I think that in this day and age, that Gordy, now not in the National Hockey League, but if he's playing amateur hockey, he's going home.
Yeah.
In those days, we're not even calling it, but that's a long time ago.
Right.
Okay, moving along here. We're into
right.
April.
Do you want this article on the left? Am I showing that first, or you want to go through the dates?
No, that's just decoration. That's the
Okay.
that's from
blow it
the
up.
that's from the Easter Rebellion, and
Okay.
the Easter Easter uprising in Ireland when Ireland was fighting for its freedom, and that's the proclamation of freedom of Irish people. And that document was the first document ever to start off with Irish men and Irish women answer to the call to Ireland. It was the first governmental document or proclamation of independence. I don't know if you can see it, but it does say, Irish men and Irish women. And it was the first document. You have to remember, this is 1916 when this was written.
And in case you're just joining us, I'm going to remind you, this is our St. Patrick's Day version of the show. It's our St. Patrick's edition, and that's why we're bringing you all this, just so you guys are aware.
Yeah, so, and that was, like I say, the first document ever have women mentioned in the start of a document. April, we start off Sunday, April 2nd, is Palm Sunday, and then Wednesday, Passover begins at sunset. And then on Sunday, the 9th, is Easter Sunday. And then the day that we're looking forward to, just 32 days away, 31 now, the National Hockey League season ends. And just a few days later, on the following Monday, for all of us that are real hockey people, real hockey begins. 16 teams goes and gets their golf clubs. 16 teams, they all want to play 4 series and win 4 games a series to get their name immortalized on Lord Stanley's Cup. And so anybody who's a real hockey person, they want to know that date. And it's going to be a great year. This year, of course, Boston is the big story, but there's all sorts of stories. There's a kid playing out in San Jose, I think, who's a defenseman who right now has more points than anybody has had in 3 decades for a defenseman playing for San Jose, which is an awful team. Yeah. And he could actually be up there. Only Bobby Orr and I think Larry Robinson had the point totals and the records. He could be in that case with Bobby Orr and Larry Robinson, but no one's come close to him in points in 30 years. Of course, you have Boston, the fastest team ever, to the points total, to 100 points.
Yeah, they'll be here in Chicago, I think. Are they coming tomorrow? Tomorrow, I think the Hawks play Boston here.
Yeah. Boston is quite a story. I know that they lost 2 games in the last few days. First, they won 1 and lost 2. They haven't done that in a long time. Really, Boston is quite a story. We could spend a whole hour just talking about a breakdown of their team and how hot they've been. And at the beginning of the year, all the experts thought that this would be a year that they'd, kind of go away, be a middle of the pack, and they've from the drop of the puck standing. And then, of course, we've got this kid up in Edmonton who we haven't seen something like this in years. Some of my friends are a little derogatory. They call him McJesus. But you've got this Connor McDavid kid. Yeah. And quite frankly, I have not seen someone that exciting with the puck since Robert Marvin Hull. And that's saying a lot because I idolized Bobby Hull. Bobby Hull, when he touched the puck, no matter what building was in, the whole building got on the edge of their seats. Yeah. And this, everybody that plays in the National Hockey League has 3 gears, This kid McDavid, he has 4 gears. He can go up and all of a sudden he throws it into a gear that I have not seen again since Hull. That he can accelerate, and the hands he has. Once again, everybody playing in the National Hockey League has good hands. But the stuff he does with his hands, just amazing. And his line mates are pretty damn good hockey players, and he sets them up. He can do it all. He can pass, he can shoot, he can skate. He's quite a story. So we start the Stanley Cup playoffs, it's going to be a hell of a year. Really will. We go into May and Kentucky Derby Day, for those horse racing fans, Saturday the 6th. Mother's Day, write it down, the 14th. Monday the 29th is Decoration Day, which most people call Memorial Day, but before it was called Memorial Day, it was called Decoration Day. And that's when it began, when people would go out and they would decorate the Civil War graves, both for the South and the North. And
Graves,
then after World War One, it became a national holiday and changed to Memorial Day.
Boy, Joe, you're gonna be like Don Cherry here
Joe,
with all this memorial information.
Before you move out of May, there's a date in there that I want everybody to mark their calendars. The IHOA member meeting, the annual meeting, is on Monday, May 8th. And it'll be at 7 p.m. Location is to be determined. I'm pretty sure I know where it's going to be at, but we do have our board meeting after this tonight. So we will be covering that, and that'll be out as soon as possible. So we do have to have an election on our members, and then if anything else needs to be voted on by the general membership, this is the time if you want to come out and find out what the organization is planning, or meet some of the current board members, or myself if you haven't met me in person, or our president or our vice president. Please, this would be a perfect event to come out and cast your vote. They're all anonymous, so don't think that, we're going to write your name down and you're going to get in trouble for anything or anything like that. Come on out. You can ask questions to the board that's there, and also most of the committees that'll be there at that time in order to answer those. And then also we will be honoring a few of our referees with our IHOA scholarship committee that we annually give out scholarships to seniors that are going to a college. You have to have it designated where you're going to go, just so you know, and we will give it out. The scholarship is $500. It covers the 4 years of your registration in order to stay a member of IHOA and also USA Hockey, in order to make sure that when you come home for break, whatever break it is, like right now some of the schools are on spring break, you can come out and work some hockey for us. You can come out, make some money, and continue being a member of our society and, our group, our association society. That sounds really horrible saying it that way, but it is almost a society if you think about it. But we don't want to lose you just because you're going to get a higher education. We want you to come back with that higher knowledge and come back out on the ice and still be a part of the game that you love. And we don't want you to forget about it over those 4 years. So take advantage of it. Links are on IHOA.com in order to apply for that to Jeff Schlender, as he's the committee chairperson.
And Brad, yesterday I looked on the IHOA site, and at that time it wasn't announced on the site, so I would have had that up there. But thank you for adding
that's okay.
that.
Yep,
Okay.
yep, that's
So
it'll go up there
in here. There we go.
Yeah.
It's
so
back.
just finishing off there. Do we have we have June that we can finish off?
There we go.
For those
gotta
people
scoot
that
that
might be
over a little
making
bit.
notes, again, let me remind you, on May 8th, that's a Monday, that'll be IHOA annual meeting. On Saturday, the 3rd of June, is AHI's annual meeting. And then the Wednesday, the 7th, to Sunday, the 11th, is the USA Hockey Annual Congress out in Colorado Springs.
Yep.
The 14th of June is Flag Day. Make sure you get them out there.
Let's go back to that USA Hockey Congress meeting.
Okay.
Now, Brad,
Yes, sir.
you
Yes.
mentioned that you were at the meeting before, and they talked about possibly going back to tag up offsides and ice the puck on the penalty kill. Would that be
No, there
at
was
that
talk.
meeting?
There was. It's not a rule change year. The next rule change is in 25.
So that can't happen to a rule change year. They can't have we're going to change it back after a year. They can't do that? Or?
They can. It just has not been done, I don't believe, for anything. That would be a major change. there's a lot of people that are going to want to discuss that before they change it. That will, I guaranteed, wait for a rule change season, and
So we got 3 more. We got 3 more years, right? Before we have. Are we on
25? So USA Hockey's also made a change to when they're going to vote on rules. So they'll no longer be in June. It's actually going to switch to the winter meetings. So it'll actually not be this winter meeting this year in 2023, which will actually be the beginning of 2024. It'll be the next January, so 2025 will be the next rule change meeting, and then the rules will go into effect the next season starting with new rosters.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
But yeah, they're changing that to make the
I
transition
thought that there was a possibility
easier.
that next season we could go back to tag up offsides, but I guess that's not going to happen. All right.
Well,
I don't foresee that happening.
Again,
But that's me.
I don't foresee it happening, Scott. But in years past, there was never a rule change until the rule change year. We used to do it every year, then it went to 2 years, now we're at 4 years. Yeah. So there was never a change until 5 years ago where this thing where you had the
derogatory speech.
Yeah, the derogatory speech and the outburst on the bench, where, when you get somebody hit. And that came out the last rule book halfway through. Those changes came out then. That's the first time in history that they made changes outside of the rule change regimen. That being said, I think the vast majority of hockey people know that they made a mistake with bantams and midgets when the rule change went through. The high school committee was smart because they have their own section. They're not just a committee; they're a section.
Yeah.
Youth covers everything from midget AAA to little kids that can hardly stand on their skates.
Half ice.
That's youth division, and then you have the adult division in that. But the problem is, and the girls, the women's 19 are in the youth division, so it's the same thing for them. So I think everybody knows that. Okay, we have other rules that are split. Meaning that you can check when you're a bantam, but you can't check when you're a peewee. So there are rules that are split, and I think everybody pretty well knows that. Okay, they should have with bantams and midgets because they are the age group of high school players. It should have been consistent that they shouldn't have had the automatic offsides and you cannot ice the puck because those players are going to move into high school or juniors or college. They should all be developing under those rules. This was all player development.
Some are already playing under 2 sets of rules because you may have a kid that's playing in Bantam and playing high school. He could be playing JV or whatever, and he's playing under 2 different sets of rules. Same thing with somebody that's playing midget hockey. U16.
Right. Right. So
the other rule I want to see us get back is I want the 5-minute standalone major to come back to the referees. I think that's a major tool that they took away from us. So USA Hockey, if you're watching, I'm of the opinion we should get that 5-minute standalone major back. We need that as a tool. So those are the changes I want to see come back.
Yeah, I agree with that totally. The NCAA and the High School Federation do a great job. They give the officials all sorts of options. There's a big difference between the 5-minute major versus you got to go home and sit a game. And I believe that now that they have the accountability where they're keeping track of major penalties, they can see if a player has had standalone majors and now he's had a problem or she's had a problem, and or major in a game. But I agree with you, Scotty. I think that it's a great tool for the officials to use, and we don't have it. I agree. I wish that change would come back.
Yeah.
So anyway, on there, just so we're all on the same page, there's Flag Day on the 14th, and then Father's Day is the following Sunday. As much as I want you to, make sure you kiss your moms, let's not forget about the dads. You know, uh, my all my family's gone, but for you of you lucky enough to still have your mom and dad, make sure you write them dates down. So moving along here, okay.
Yep.
We're right at the end of the season, and this last weekend at Seven Bridges and at Romeoville, they had the district tournaments. No, we won't get to that right now. We're going to do supervisors first, Scotty.
Oh, you want? Okay. All right. Cool.
Yeah,
We'll go back to this.
because this was brought up today that somebody wanted this covered and wanted to discuss, and that's great because I supervised for many years, and of course I officiated for many years with supervisors, and unfortunately, and this is everywhere, not just Illinois. Uh, Sadly, when I started, you were always supervised. Somebody assigned one or two rinks, and they were always in the rink. And whenever you worked the tournament, I remember the Loyola tournament, Chet and Bobby Lilla, Danny Sullivan when it was at Park Ridge would always be there. Any tournament at Franklin Park, Leroy Albrecht was always there. Don Jan was always up at the Polar Dome. I could just go down the list of Bob Pulley down there at Southwest Ice Arena. We had great guys that would help young officials and also help guys that have been around for a long time say, hey, you kind of dogged it on that play. Uh, so we don't have that experience the way it was in the 60s and 70s and early 80s. But there are people that get to go to events or get to go to some tournaments, and you may have supervisors or evaluators there. And it's really important that somebody comes in with a clipboard or somebody comes in that's in charge of the tournament. Stop what you're doing. If you're unlacing your skates or whatever you're doing, you're trying to pull your sweater off, just stop and listen to what this person has to say. Now, once again, I am not Mr. Politically Correct. Most
You joke.
supervisors, yeah.
See, we got jokes, folks. We got jokes.
Yeah. Most supervisors and evaluators are average at best. Why? Let's go back to the old adage. Those that can do. Okay? Those that can't teach. Those that can't do or teach administrate or supervise. Okay? That's the
Are you trying to tell me
majority.
I should give it up, Joe?
No, I'm not saying that. All I'm trying to say is that let's call a spade a spade. I worked all levels of hockey, and I had some tremendous supervisors, outstanding. I mean, John D'Amico. Let's just start right there. Andy Van Helleman. Let's just start right there. I mean, guys that were just out. Chet Stewart, outstanding. But there's some people that are average at best. And the reason I'm saying this is not being critical of people doing it. I'm talking to the officials that are listening to this. I don't care who walks in that room. Stop what you're doing and listen to what they have to say. I don't care if you have someone who's just average at it or if you have someone who's not good at it at all. I bet you out of the 10 or 15 sentences they say, you can find one thing that is germane to that game or to what you're doing all the time. And unfortunately, on one side of it, because we don't get a lot of supervision and evaluation, and on the other side of it, because our officials, coast to coast, we have so many people assigned to games that shouldn't be out there. Sorry, you're out there because we don't have enough people. That's why you're out there. They're not used to taking any criticism, whether it's constructive or not. So they all of a sudden are not going to listen at all. Believe me, everybody can learn. You can be the best official in Illinois, or you can be some guy who's just out there to fill a spot. You can learn from everybody that comes in the room. And if you get in the habit of stopping what you're doing and listening, you are going to find the supervisors that come in that really know the game, that really know it inside and out. And now you'll just be amazed at what they're going to pick out. When I supervised, Brad will tell you, I would come in the room and I would start with the linesman first. Why? Because traditionally, supervisors start with the referee. And now the linesmen feel like, well, once again, we're screwed. I would start with the linesman first, talk about, how they started their standard with face-offs, or how they started, with their stoppages, and how they were helping out the referee, covering things and communication. Then I would incorporate into the referee how he was working as a team with the linesman, because the three official system lives and dies on that triangle. And unfortunately, that's not taught enough. That's not taught enough. We have the referees off doing their thing and the linesmen doing their thing, and now it is a problem. It's a team, and it really has to be. That's the only way that system works, especially today, where it's faster everywhere. But I don't care. Even when we had centerline offsides and we had possession icing, touch the puck icing, the referees that were the most successful were the guys that were respected by the linesmen, because the referee and the linesman worked as a team. The referee always knew that they got caught on the bench side, that linesman was going to be on the goal line every single time. First period,
Cover
third
early,
period, overtime.
cover often. That's my motto.
Correct. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one thing I want to point out is I know we've covered it before, and I say it a lot, especially in our development program. Two really great linesmen can make a really, really cruddy referee look really, really good.
Absolutely.
Two really bad linesmen can make a really, really, really good referee look really bad. So it's a tangent. All three of them need to be working together. And the referees, I think the most successful ones like you put out there, respect the linesmen and know the work that they put in for them to make their lives easier. And you know what? If they don't understand that, they're going to struggle the entire time. But I think also if you get a chance, if you're a referee that referees a lot, which I do at this point, I like when I line because it gives me a whole new perspective on the game for a day. The linesmen have to stand there. They have to get hit by the pucks. Referees are kind of allowed to go wherever they want to get out of the way. So it's a good mental reminder that it's a tough job, and without those linespersons, your life would be a lot more difficult. So I just wanted to put that in there. Sorry, Joe. That's a shout out to linesmen.
No, you're absolutely correct. I agree with that. I said that many times myself. And on the other side of it, yes, I know that we get a lot of criticism. We get a lot more than we used to. And once again, everybody has one of these $1,000 toys with cameras. So you're going to have a lot of situations where somebody's pointing out something you did wrong, which you may have been doing wrong or they may not understand. Real quick story. Just a few weeks ago, I had a coach that I really respect. Great guy. He coached in the juniors. He runs a program. I remember when he was playing and his dad was coaching. I was refereeing then. And he comes up to me, "Pops, I can't believe it. Look at this. This referee called this a goal." And it's right at the end. You can see right through the netting that the goaltender's made the save, but it's caught underneath the pad and nobody sees it. And the referee is just crossing the blue line and starts to point. The referee is 60 feet away. No way that he can see it. And the coach shows me this, and he goes, "Look at that referee." And I said, "I have only one question. Where's the linesman?" And he goes, "What?" I said, "Where's the linesman?" I said, "In that play right there, that play had time to go over the blue line and in, and the linesman should have known because it was on the bench's side that he's got to go or she's got to go." And he goes, "Oh." And I said, "That's what makes the three official system work. Unless you're going to get goal judges or cameras, there is nobody, unless they're from Krypton, that can go goal line to goal line."
It's impossible.
In fact, the people that could possibly skate goal line to goal line are going to be so tunneled that they're going to miss everything behind the play and in the deep slot. The referee has to be able to have linesmen that anytime they're on the bench side, they are instantly thinking, I'm going to the goal line. And if you have to go in 15 times a period, it doesn't matter. You go in, you come out. Big deal. It's only 60 feet you're skating. But, and the coach said, geez, Pops, I didn't think of that. So, I mean, right there,
It's not the ref. That's the linesman's job. And
the referee obviously shouldn't have been pointing from the blue line, but, the bottom line is the linesman should have been on that line. And then if the referee was pointing, the linesman could have gone over and said, that's underneath its pads.
You're making an interesting point here, and I'd like to say something with regard to that, because a few years back I was at a Blackhawks game at the United Center, and one of the referees got ill very early in the first period. You could see he had a bottle of water out there with him before the anthem was going on. It was like you knew he was not going to make it through the game. He left early in the first period, and they started skating as a 3-man. I did not see a single linesman come down to cover a goal line until middle of the third period. I finally saw one come down. The other referee was basically top of the circle to top of the circle. Never made a call on anything that was on the opposite side of the ice. Only called what he would call from his side of the ice. And again, nobody even came down once to cover a goal line until middle of the third period. I was shocked. I thought they would, they don't work that system, I guess, but.
Right. That's the deal, Scotty. I mean,
force a habit.
Yeah. So anybody who's listening to this and saying, well, Pop shouldn't be busting on us, I'm sorry. You can be in the National Hockey League unless you have the system down where you have to cover, you're not going to cover. And especially those guys that are used to with the referees being down there, plus the cameras and replay.
Yeah. Well, they still have that to rely on. Let's face it. If you've got a tough call to make, you're just going to go look at the iPad and figure out what happened and make your call. Yeah. So they've got the benefit. I had a situation at one of the games not too long ago. Had a delayed penalty, 2-man. Delayed penalty in front of the net. Had a guy that got cross-checked down, put my arm up. And then there was a snipe shot that went top shelf, just under the bar and out real quickly. And I warded the goal. I'm like, I saw the net move. It's a goal. I checked with my partner. He's like, I can't even help you on that one. That was a snipe, and, make your call. And I did. But, we don't have the luxury of being able to go to, the live barn camera or whatever. We're making it. It's a snap decision. You got to trust your gut and what you're seeing out there. And, I get it. You always want to be right. There's going to be those opportunities or chances of something happening, and you don't quite see it the way you would hope to be able to see it. But, it's a live, fast game. And it's not getting any slower, okay? It's getting faster. So, these are...
So, wrapping up supervision. When you get to a tournament, or if you are selected to, especially you go to regionals, nationals, there are going to always be evaluators and supervisors there. If this is your first experience, please stop what you're doing, and if you have your notepad, some people call it a Riot Pad, but I always tell people, take the thing out, okay? Take the thing out. And as I used to tell guys that used to complain about some supervisors who were not so good, I say, fine, if you take the notepad out, you can write down, and you can just be writing a note to yourself, I need eggs, I need milk, I got to pick up my cleaning. There you go. But on the other hand, you can get a supervisor that's going along, and that person might point out something that really you're like, wow, I never heard that before. And if you've got that pen and pad, you can write that right down right there. And you go, wow, I never heard that. That's a good point. It is a two-way street, but because we don't get evaluated or supervised that much, when you get the opportunity, just keep your mind open. If you get somebody who's average or not, fine, just be respectful, listen to what they have to say thank you, and that's it. And if it's somebody that you're going to get that really knows our game inside and out, it's a blessing. Just a blessing. And guaranteed you'll pick up some things that will help you and help our game. So, that's what I have to say about supervising.
Gary says, Joe, too many linesmen are intimidated by referees, something that needs discussing. Disgusting.
Well,
disgusting.
Disgusting.
Hey, Scott.
First,
Scott, I got to run. I'll let you guys finish up I know Joe wants to do the face-off thing because and what's funny is
we're almost at, we are over.
We're at an hour. Yeah, you're over an hour. But no, we started late too, technically. Yeah. But I will state that when I was at the rink, I did walk over and watch a little bit of the other stuff that was going on. The part that Joe's going to cover with the face-offs, it definitely some people should listen to because it's very important, and there's going to be referees that are going to get injured. And I witnessed it, not in our district stuff. By the way, the district officials from our district did a fantastic job over the weekend. Hats off to all of them. We're going to get their acknowledgement up. We just haven't gotten that far yet because we completed the weekend. And today's only Monday. So, Friday's another week over, and we'll keep working on it. But I'm going to jet. All right, you gentlemen can finish that out, all right? Okay, have a great day, and thanks, everybody.
Joe,
thanks,
I'm going to let you cover
thanks,
the face-offs. Brad, it's always a pleasure. Great job over the state tournament, and good luck with the finals and all that good stuff. And thanks for all you do. It's been a great year, and I'm proud of you. You've done a nice job as a referee-in-chief. So
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yep.
Gary Como wrote in, and a lot of people that listen to this don't know who Gary Como is. Without Gary Como and Chet Stewart and others, we don't have an Illinois Hockey Officials Association. Gary Como is one of the toughest guys I know and was an outstanding linesman, worked pro hockey for many years, and he's just top shelf in my book, always has been. Now, I gotta say, I'm not politically correct. Neither is Gary. Gary's a really harsh guy sometimes, but one thing that nobody can accuse him of is never speaking the, he always speaks the truth, and he's got a lot of experience, and he's right. There are some referees, and there always was, who they come in the room with a big ego. Linesman, you have a job to do. And you have to stand up sometimes and stand on your own two skates and say, nope, this is what I saw. You are out there and you're assigned and you have an important function. And when I taught the three official system, as I said earlier in this program, I always talked to the linesman first. Because I think that they are the bedrock of the three official system, but also to acknowledge that they don't get a lot of acknowledgement, and I wanted them to know that they are just as important and many times more important than somebody who's just happened to put on armbands. The face-offs. Now we're going to talk very quickly about this. Everybody, if you look at the screen here, on the top you'll see a linesman or an official in the two official system going to administrate a face-off. Now look at that linesman or that official. His shoulders are over his knees, over the ball of his foot. His perfect balance on his inside edges. If those guys get tied up with him, he has 4 ways that he can go, exit, or protect himself. Plus, if the wingers come up behind him and clip him, he might go down, but he's not taking out an ACL or an MCL. He's going to get up and continue that game. On the bottom here, here's an official about ready to drop the puck from the belt. And I was at this game, and that's the way every face-off was. He's standing straight up and down. And if those 2 wingers come in and clip him, thank God, I hope he has a good orthopedic surgeon because he's going to need a new knee. And I see more and more of our people shooting that puck in from the belt and not bending their knees. This guy has no way to exit at all. He has to get, squared away to get on his outside edges. He has to get squared away to go right, left, backwards, forwards, versus the official on the top. That official can move in many directions. Plus, when this official at the top drops the puck, he has the ability to protect his ribs or face area by keeping his hands flexed and ready to react to a stick, a puck, whatever comes up. The official on the bottom, all right, once he fires that puck in from the belt, his hands extend and now he has nothing out in front of him. His arms are now right with the body. So there's nothing that can prevent the stick or a puck coming up and hitting him. He's got to be fast enough, Bruce Lee fast enough to catch the stick coming to cut open his face.
All right, so Joe, let me ask you this. Are you a fan of coming from the belt and down, or are you a fan of presenting the puck?
Presenting the puck is the only way to go. Why USA Hockey hasn't gone to that? The National Hockey League tried it, and they didn't even get through a season, and the general managers and the centers were going out of their minds. The NCAA had it for a year and a half, and the coaches went crazy. USA Hockey has maintained that we go from the belt out and down. And why I don't like the drop is, again, we're in amateur hockey. At most levels, the centers are doing just what they're doing here. Look at those centers' heads. Those centers are looking at something coming out of the Netherland. All right? They're not looking down on the ice so they can keep their focus on the face-off spot. Every face-off spot except center ice is a 2-foot circumference. When you have two centers focusing on that 24-inch circumference, that's where the focus of their sticks and balance point is. When you have centers that have turned their body this way, you can see that they're already off balance on one side.
Well, they're also, they're not, one is not squared up. Secondly, they're both over the hash marks for the centers, which means the official dropping the puck has very little room. At least these guys don't have their heads over the top of each other. This is what we're seeing now is, guys have their head up against head. It's like you can't even put the puck down from where you are because all you could do is shuffle it in from the side. I don't know why we've gotten to this point. Either linesmen across the country or officials are not forcing the players to separate a little bit so you have some room to get the puck down. You get a better face-off. You can do more with the puck. Once they get to this point, nothing good can happen for anybody.
Agreed. And your points are absolutely well taken, and I see that all the time also. Whether you're a linesman or you're in the two official, look at these two centers. Their skates are squared right across each other. All right, now the
look where their helmets are.
The perspective may be, you don't know what the distance is, but I don't know. But all I do know is that this linesman here is right with him, and he can move him back a few inches if he wants, versus the other official is standing and doesn't have that perspective. And yes, the helmets shouldn't be butting. There's no way they can be butting helmets and have their sticks on the white part of the face-off spot.
Right.
But that's something in the first period that all of our officials, whether you're lining as working as a linesman or you're in the two official system, you need to move those centers. And also, referees, you drop the puck to start the friggin' game. You have the first face-off of the game. I know, except in college. Okay, fine. But every other level, you have the rock. Right there, you have to get the guys square and then get the thing in. And believe me, when I referee, I make sure the guys are out of the circle, the wingers, and the centers are squared up. It makes it a lot easier for the linesman to continue that standard if you start it right there. But if you're a referee and you go in and just throw the thing in there, well, that's what the linesman might do. Okay? This linesman right here, or referee in the two official system, he has the ability to move those guys over or back, but they are squared up. If the picture was turned, we could see where the helmets are. But if they're button helmets, that guy is, look how close he is to their ears. He can just say, guys, I'm not dropping this rock till you move back a few inches. So move back. I'm not going to have you butt helmets. But when you're standing up, you're 2 feet away from them. You got to yell at them. So, for it, guys, For safety reasons, this position right here is going to protect your knees and going to give you a way to move out of a tie-up. The other way, you're asking for trouble. And you asked about presenting the puck. USA Hockey teaches not to present the puck. I get it. You can still have the puck available for the centers to see 18 inches off the ice and come out and down quickly. But if you're coming from the belt line and you're standing straight up, that means that you're dropping that puck anywhere from 36 inches, it's coming down. And that gives them all sorts of time to swipe at it, miss it, or tie each other up and bring those sticks right up into your face. So it doesn't help you not to bend your knees. Okay, hell of a show.
Yep. Well, Joe, thank you for all you do for hockey and for all of us. The officials love you. The coaches love you. Everybody loves you, Joe. You've been around forever. I appreciate your joining us for St. Patrick's Day, the special edition. Hope you guys had a great time. We got a lot of people that checked in. We didn't even really get to the all the people with the comments and everything. So thank you to everybody that chimed in today. We appreciate you and checking us out. Time to hit it here. So we do this every Monday.
Scotty, I'm sorry. You know, one thing I do have to say, I'm glad I'm on the show, but if I wasn't here, I'd be over at Glacier tonight because the North Suburban Youth Hockey League, they're having their final championship game. And when you win the championship game in the North Suburban League up there, you get the Glickman Cup, the Steve Glickman Cup.
The Glickman Cup. Nice.
And if anybody deserves a cup named after him, it's Steve Glickman. Just an absolutely outstanding human being. So I wanted to say that. Happy St. Patrick's Day to everybody. God bless you and thank you.
All right, guys. With that being said, again, we do this every Monday at 5:30. Scott Smokin Silz on behalf of Brad Baumruck, and of course our special guest today, Joe Prescott, a legend in his own way as always, and we appreciate all you do, Joe. So we will see you guys again. Check us out on Facebook. If you haven't subscribed to the channel or hit the notification bell, we'd appreciate it. Smash that like button. That's always good too. Hit the like button if you're enjoying the show. And again, thanks for checking us out, everybody. We'll see you again next Monday right here, 5:30 on the Ref Room. Peace out.